news headquarters in Santa Monica. This is Mornings, Lalate.
It's a big day here on Mornings LA with huge developing details about that consumer price index number released on Friday and why inflation is getting red hot. Well, the latest details on what it means for this economy, what it means for your wallet, and what it means going forward into the next few months of this financial downturn of the situation across the board. Big stocks, big bonds, and big stimulus. In this recording, we go over the 4 stimulus checks that are in every U.S. state, and I found them for you. Thank goodness, because you're going to need it as the economy is getting worse by the minute. Step 1, become a member. Step 2, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. And Step 3, stay with me for the second half, because we're going to go over those incredible checks at issue. The breaking news today is robust, and we have a lot of it, and it's a big day. We're going to start with the Build Back Better Act and why it's supported with that bad data that came in on Friday. It was horrific. As stocks fell dramatically, down 880 points as the CPI number blew out expectations. Wow. Then the stock market continued to erode as major tech stocks continue to fall 6% in just Friday. We'll have the latest details on that. Oil up, tech down, retail down. What does this mean for you and stimulus? We'll have the analysis in today's recording. Next up, recession, as viewers now believe that, and consumers now believe, that the CPI number is indication that we're in a recession right now. That consumer confidence is the worst we've seen since the pandemic. What's going on? All the latest analysis as well. Then we have breaking news on the gas front, as new details suggest that the gasoline prices that you see right now is just getting started. They could be going even higher. What does the White House have lined up for that situation? I'll analyze that data point as well. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and it's Mornings LA live on air for June 11th, 2022. I'm excited you're here, and we're going to give big sums of money later in this recording. Stay with me, as America's most watched show at Mornings starts right now. It's a big day, a lot of heat, and a lot of money, and we're going to do all that starting right now. And good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Wow. Everything is working beautifully. It's a June 11th, 2022 broadcast live on air from the shores of Santa Monica, California, and hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's a day unlike any other, because last weekend I told you going into Friday, we were going to have a major announcement. It's a consumer price index number, CPI, and it was going to tell us a lot about what's going on with this economy. But no one knew it was going to hit like how it hit. Here's what's going on. Going into that CPI number, which we have been talking about all this last week, we thought that was going to come in at the money or slightly better. At least we hope. That's what Art Hogan said. And if it came in higher, then we would get spooked. The markets would get spooked. Consumer confidence could be hurt, and it could signal that there's big problems with this economy that we did not even know. So what happened? On Friday, the consumer price index number was released, and didn't just spook us. It scared the socks off of us. The number was a jaw-dropping, oh my God, announcement. The CPI number came in at 8.5% year to date, when expected to come in at 8.4%. Not good. This consumer CPI number, CPI, is one of many inflationary benchmarks, but this one is the big one. This one is what people look at. And by coming in at 8.5% year to date, compared to an 8.4% projection, it says that inflation's actually going higher. Wow, this ain't good. And immediately the reaction kept on coming on in. Let's first go over the reaction. Let's go over the impact on your money, and then we'll go to stimulus as well. The ugly trend of inflation is why the Federal Reserve is poised to hike interest rates by half basis point in May and begin letting their bond portfolio run off, said Greg McBride, chief financial analyst at Bankrate, when this data came in. The Fed will be pressing firmly on the brake pedal, not just pumping the brakes in an effort to slow demand and bring the inflation rate back down, obviously. The impact on the consumer sentiment was immediately felt. What happened on Friday? This is a shocker. Consumer confidence fell to its lowest level since the pandemic lockdown. Yes, folks. We'll be going over more about that in a second. Why is this important for Build Back Better Act? Why is this important for stimulus? Why is this important for your money? So much details. We can go over it starting right now. The Build Back Better Act is a congressional piece of legislation that would give you $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. It's supported by bad economic data. And there's no worse economic data than I can give you than this one. 8.5% inflation in June is just shockingly horrible. But what I need you to know is that you can't wait around for a Build Back Better Act because this inflation is too troubling. It may not be sustainable for you to live on until they get Build Back Better Act done. Step 1, become a member. Step 2, to get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. And get those 4 stimulus checks I have for you later in this recording. Those 4 stimulus checks would get you financially through this economy. If you get qualification in and you get the application in and you get approved, they are upwards of $80,000. That's what you need. The Build Back Better Act is supported by this bad economic data, and we're going to continue with this bad economic data starting right now. When that CPI number was released on Friday, it just shocked Wall Street dramatically. Here's what you need to know is that Wall Street looks at expectations, looks at predictions, and if they're worse than expected, they get spooked. Last February 2021, I said inflation was going to come in at 8% last December. It was. No one on Wall Street was saying 8% at the time. I was the only person. It came in at 8%. Then I said it was going to sustain. They weren't saying it was going to sustain either. It did sustain. Then in the month of March, I said it could go a little bit higher. It did go a little bit higher. How wrong were they and how right were we as a family? We were right on the money. Now, even this uptrend of CPI to 8.5% is even more an issue than I had expected. But the one thing I absolutely did not predict is what happened later on Friday. Consumer confidence. Consumer confidence plummeted to levels we've not seen since the pandemic, since lockdown. This is a big one. Consumer confidence is what people think when they're buying goods. How confident in the economy. They now think that this economy is worse than the lockdown of the pandemic. Folks, this is not good. Today's wrong analysis quote of the day comes from Lori Calvasini, who's at RBC Capital Markets. She says, does it force equities to stay at a bottom of the range? It's been in perhaps. I don't think it's low. I don't think it's enough to force them down to a new low. Incorrect analysis. Absolutely, it's going to push them down to a new low. The data is horrible. The consumer confidence was so dramatically down on Friday because of this implosion caused by the CPI through the roof that of course it's going to bring them lower. Here's the analysis right now. Apple shares fell 4% on Friday. Microsoft down 5%. Dow Inc. down 6%. Salesforce down 5%. Amazon down 5%. The Dow fell 880 points on Friday, 3%, as the S&P fell 3% and the NASDAQ fell 4%. Why? The stock market crash of 2022 is just getting started. This inflation is bringing it down, real down, and it's just getting started. Bear market, yes. We're down 23% year to date, but we're going to go down 46% because we're going into recession. Now, here's where it gets interesting. A week ago on this channel, I said, do not get tied up on words. Is it a recession? Is it a downward? Is it stagflation? Is it downward of the economy? What is this thing going on? Don't get tied up on those words. Well, that's what the consumer is doing right now. That report released on Friday that said that most Americans believe we're in a recession right now. Oh boy. Let's go over the analysis. A recession is the most cancerous type of word you can use to describe an economy. Recession is basically the worst of all the words you can use. So Americans believe we're in the recession. This is troubling for many regards. One, their confidence is worse than it should be. Number two, they think the economy is worse than it is. And number three, they think this is the recession. Oh no, as I've been saying, by September, it's going to be a lot worse than it is now for June 11th, 2022. By January 2023, it's going to be a lot worse than it's going to be by September. Yeah, if people think this is the worst situation, boy, get ready, because it's going to get a lot worse. The Build Back Better Act is supported by this bad economic data, and the Build Back Better Act has a new focus today. You know what? There's some times when there's pivotal moments. And I told you last week I thought this Friday data was going to be a pivotal moment. I now believe it is a pivotal moment. Why? Because I'm going to say something bluntly to you. It's not negative. It's not political, it's just to the point. I do believe that based upon this number that came on Friday for the CPI being showing that inflation is 80.5% year to date, and that it's not coming down. Basically, if this status quo continues, the Democrats are going to lose everything in the midterm elections. The Democrats will lose the Congress, and the president will not have the support of the American people, although he's not up for re-election. What does this mean for you? It means that the Democrats, they have the opportunity to get the Build Back Better Act done while they're in control between now and December 31st, 2022. But come January next year, they will not be in control of the Congress. They will not be in control of the Congress with this economy as it is right now. So what will Republicans do as your recession stimulus of 2023? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Will they just give to corporate America again? Will they do small business loans or EIDL grants? What will the Republicans do in 2023? I don't know. But what I do know is that this situation is very telling on Friday. Build Back Better Act, I believe, will get done before the midterms, $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. We'll go over more about them tonight on Evenings Lalate in prime time at 5 o'clock. It's a brand new show tonight. And I'll go over a little bit more about it on the afternoon show at 3 o'clock, which is brand new today as well. But I got to tell you, this data that came in on Friday basically says Democrats are gone. They're gone. They have not gotten this fixed. Now, let me go to the second part of the equation for why this impact is so big. Peter Bukovar, Bleecker Advisory Group, says it reinforces the impact that the CPI number had on consumer psyche. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Consumer sentiment, that it changed dramatically yesterday. He says, we can guess this is going to have a negative future impact on consumer spending. It will. It already has. It's a shocking number, and that's the way inflation does when it's running as hot as it is. Here's another number I need you to know. The two-year Treasury note jumped above 3% on Friday, its highest levels since 2008. Why do you need to know this? If you have credit card debt, if you have any flexible loan like a car loan or home loan, your payments are going through the roof. They're going to go through the roof. And as McBride says, the Federal Reserve is going to have to put a hard brake on the situation. Yes, the Federal Reserve is going to do interest rate spike after interest rate spike across the board. This is very telling, and that is why you got to get these forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. It's important to understand that the situation has changed dramatically with this number released on Friday. Why? Because now inflation is far worse than it's ever been on this channel at 6.5, what was it, 6.6 or 6.5? It was 6.5%. Now inflation is really out of control. It is out of control more than it ever has been before. The consumer believes we're in a recession when we're not. The consumer believes this is the worst it's going to be. It's not. It's actually going to get worse. The consumer is guiding that situation. And guess what's also part of the equation? The gasoline. The breaking news for June 11th, 2022 on a Saturday is that the gas prices today are the highest levels I've ever reported on the history of this channel. And they're going even higher. Gasoline today, for the first time ever, is $5.004. There's a 4 at the very end, according to the AAA national average released minutes ago. This is the highest price point I've ever reported in the history of this channel. International Brent crude price is, I think, $123 a barrel right now. I've been saying for a few weeks we're going to $10 a gallon at the pump. I believe it's happening. A year ago, it was $3 a gallon. Now you pay at the pump. Now you're paying $5.04 today. And you're not paying $5 in Los Angeles. You're paying $7.20 most places in Los Angeles. I believe it's going to $10 very shortly. Here's the analysis. Mike House and here's the second wrong quote of the day. Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's Analytics, says the typical household is now spending about $160 more on gas a month than a year ago. I don't agree. I believe they're spending $160 more a week than a month ago. I just don't think that is a really, that encompasses how much people drive. There was a report that was released about 7 days ago that said nearly 80% of Americans who work are working in the workplace. The employers have brought them back. So I believe that people are not working at home. And I don't think it's $160 more gas a month. I think it's more a week. Then Gas Buddy, a great company led by Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis. I think it's going to get worse. I don't think it'll clip 550. I think 525 is at the high end. I think it's going a lot higher. I think it's going all the way up to 10. Price gouging. Joe Biden was in Los Angeles yesterday, and he was asked about what I just went over. And his response was the following, quote, "Why don't you tell me what Exxon's profits were this quarter? Exxon made more money than God." What? Folks, that's deflective. That's really deflective. He was asked, Mr. President, what do you say about the rising price of inflation? What do you say about the rising price of gasoline? His response is, did you look at how much Exxon made last quarter? Go ask them. Boy, if you wouldn't talk to your significant loved one like that about an important question in the household, and the loved one just gave you a very deflective, evasive, unresponsive answer, what would you do with that loved one? You would look at them and say, you didn't just answer my question. You just deflected. This is horrible deflection by the White House on the most important issue at hand, which is gasoline. The White House has been asked time and time again, what are they doing with gasoline? And today, as the price of gasoline is surging out of control, what is the White House doing? Let me tell you what the White House is doing. The president will be going to Saudi Arabia in the next few days, and the White House is, one, confirming the travel plans, but two, not even saying who he's meeting or what he's meeting about. If you're meaning to do a gasoline deal, why not announce you're meaning to have a gasoline deal? I mean, why would you keep it a secret? If you're trying to help Americans get a lower price of gasoline at the pump, wouldn't you say, I'm going to Saudi Arabia to get some lower gasoline? No. The White House kept it a secret. It's still keeping it a secret. Just that time? Nope. Also breaking news for June 11th. Yesterday, Brian Deasy, who I believe is the root of all the problems, the president's chief economic advisor, who I absolutely think is, yeah, I almost used a word, is really not smart, met with the heads of Exxon and Chevron to discuss the situation. Guess what happened? The meeting is not confirmed officially by the White House. The White House will not confirm what was even discussed in the meeting. Excuse me? Why are all these meetings happening about your gasoline and no one's confirming the meetings are happening, let alone telling you what's being said at the meetings? Exxon's mobile spokesperson said, we've been in regular contact with the administration, informing them of the planned investment to increase production and refinery capacity in the United States, says its spokesperson, Casey Norton. Has the White House provided solutions? Here's what you need to know, is that the minute that those Russian troops were at the Ukrainian border of October of last year, and I immediately said on this recording, what are they doing there? They don't belong at the Ukrainian border. If they invade Ukraine in 2022, this is going to be the biggest economic story of next year, and we better have some gasoline ready. What happened at the time? We now know that the President of the United States asked his Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, in October 2021, do you have a plan if Putin invades Ukraine next year for oil? Silence. There is no plan. In fact, the financial analyst that had brought Janet Yellen or her undersecretaries on broadcast news said, what was your plan if Putin invaded Ukraine for gasoline replacement? No solution. No solution. Now, if you think Joe Biden's comments in Los Angeles yesterday, when asked what are you going to do about higher prices of gasoline, he says, why don't you talk about how much money Exxon is making this quarter, was deflective. Well, there's another part of the problem. It's actually incorrect. Biden's comments this week consistently was about that he believes corporate oil companies in the United States are price gouging you, and that they're the problem. Janet Yellen was actually asked about that question as well. She said it's wrong analysis. Janet Yellen threw the president on the bus. She said it's not true. The reason why the gasoline's through the roof is we don't have enough gasoline. It's not because they're price gouging us. Her comments were that I don't think that's what's driving inflation. Price cost margins have gone up in many sectors. Here's what you need to know, is that the Western allies, not just the President of the United States, have dropped the ball. People say, LA, why don't you run for President of the United States? I think I would have to run for President of France, President of Italy, and President of Germany, because they have got to know gasoline lined up. The Western allies have now banned Russian oil. And OPEC Plus reduced production in March initially. So we're missing 3.5 million barrels of gasoline a day. We need that gasoline replaced. From where? The Keystone Pipeline would not provide enough gasoline. That would provide hundreds of thousands of barrels a day, not millions and millions of barrels a day. Increasing production, West Texas or East Texas doesn't do it. That's just hundreds of thousands of barrels. We're missing 3.5 million barrels a day. We got to get a Venezuela, a Brazil, a OPEC Plus, a UAE, a Saudi Arabia, a Iran to give us the gasoline. And we had to since March. I said we're going into recession. We don't have it by May. We're going in July. We have no gasoline lined up. We have a problem, and no one in the White House's team has gotten any solutions lined up. Let me make this very clear to you. This is a major economic catastrophe happening right now. I paused because I almost said waiting to happen. It's not waiting to happen. It has already happened. Brian Deasy doesn't know anything of what he's doing. He's absolutely unqualified for any of this. He should be out in 10 seconds. The president, when he came into office, had a problem, and the problem was COVID. And the problem was getting the vaccines to people. So what did the White House do? He hired a guy that was really good on logistics. Logistics is a fancy word for delivery or shipping or getting things to people. He hired the best guy on logistics to get the vaccines buy more vaccines, first of all, then get them from the plants to the Walgreens and the CVS, which had not had deals yet, and get those deals lined up so you can get the things very quickly, get the shots very quickly, get them lined up. It was all a logistics thing. That's what oil needs. Oil needs a logistics czar. It needs a logistics solution. You need to go to one of those countries like a Venezuela and get the gasoline bought. Then you got to get the logistics guy to get it shipped to all the Western allies. Not just us, but them and us. Everyone from Italy all the way back to the United States. All of us need the gasoline. If we don't get the gasoline, we all go in recession. And get the gasoline right now. The audacity of the White House to send Joe Biden to Saudi Arabia not saying why he's going is ridiculous. I mean, if you're in the press corps, you would immediately say, well, if you're not going to tell us why he's going there, then where is the gasoline coming from? Where are you buying the gasoline from? And if he gives you a comment like, go ask Exxon why its profits are so high, I would say that's not answering my question, President of the United States. Where are you getting the gasoline from? We need gasoline right now. You see why this is so important is because gasoline is one of the many things that the White House is not dealing with. And by not dealing with, it's literally dead silence. I'm not being, on Afternoons I Like Today, you will see me use an analysis. I want to do it again right now. Sometimes people use these emphatic terms like never, nothing, not happening, none, those type of words. And they're embellishing it with it. You know, there's never rain in Los Angeles. Well, there is rain, just not that frequently. That's an example. Well, in the case of this, there's nothing going on in the White House to get gasoline replaced with. They got no plans about where to get the 3.5 million barrels. But I'm not stopping with gasoline. I'm next going to the next problem, which is the CPI, the Consumer Price Index number, your inflation that impacts your wallet, supply chain. The supply chain is what's causing the inflation. And that's 100% the responsibility of the President of the United States. He oversees the federal ports of calls in the ports, like the ports of Los Angeles or the port of New York or the port of Miami. He oversees those ports. He oversees the federal aviation, the shipping of things by planes into our airports. His job is to oversee that. There's no one else in charge of that. That's him. What has he done with that? I called Los Angeles to tell them to run 24 hours a day in February. Okay, that's all you did? That's like a 15-minute phone call. That's like a 15-minute phone call. You spent 15 minutes on the subject matter. It didn't work, so let's try something else. You spent 15 minutes. Can we do a little bit more than that, Joe? You gotta get the products and the supply chain solved. That's what the president does. Jay Powell is now looking ridiculous. In a report that I delivered on this channel on Thursday, or it was Wednesday, I think it was 80% of CFOs, which is chief financial officers of corporate America, now believe that Jay Powell is not getting inflation down. I mean, I don't think anyone thinks that Jay Powell's getting inflation down. Every, we always see sort of the progression of news on this channel where I report something or I tell you something's going to happen and then it happens, or I tell you it's going to happen, then it happens. It was maybe 3 months ago, I told you Jay Powell's not going to get inflation down. And then there's going to be a reality moment, an epiphany, a surprise moment where everyone says, oh, what Jay's been doing has not been working. I realize that guy, he's just not doing anything. Well, that moment has happened now. But what's more pervasive is that it appears that not only heads of big corporations now realize what Jay Powell's doing is not going to work. Now the American consumer, the mom and pop, the person on the porch now realize the Federal Reserve was trying to do this. They're raising my interest rates. They're sending me a recession. That is a very common sentence that was on sort of the fringes of financial news back in February, and now Americans repeat it verbatim. The Federal Reserve is sending us into recession. The Federal Reserve is raising interest rates. The Federal Reserve can't get inflation down. The Federal Reserve can't fix supply chain disruption. It's supply chain disruption that's causing inflation. Everyone that is mom and pop understands this now as well. And that is why I'm here. This is why you're here. I do three things on this channel. I deliver you the financial news, the breaking news, like the stocks were down 880, like the Dow was down 880 points last Friday. I give you the financial analysis, like where this economy is going to be by September of this year. And then I get you the money. It's different than reporting you about the money. I get you the money. Back in February, viewers of this channel said, LA, can you find me stimulus checks? Can you find me money? Thank God you asked me then, because that was before this happened. That was before this CPI. That was before this downward spiral of consumer confidence. Thank goodness. And we're going to go over those incredible forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. What's important to understand is that you qualify. My importance in getting these checks for you is that I get it for the most viewers I can. Single individual, $75,000 or less or annual income, go get it. They're coming up in the second half of this video. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get them. They're not small checks. You can't survive on a small check right now. Any person, any day, any moment that jumps on live chat who wants a $600 stimulus check, what's $600 going to do? That one guy said, it's not even going to pay for your gasoline for a month. I don't think it's going to pay for your gasoline for a week. I got to get you big checks, and that's what I've done. Upwards of $80,000 for stimulus checks in every U.S. state. They're coming up in the second half. You're not going to see this anywhere else, because that is why this channel, Lalate News, is now the number 2 most watched financial news channel in America, and we're going, number 3, and we're going after number 2. And we got big changes coming to this channel in just a few weeks. Get that incredible membership. The link is under the video. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, and then stay for the second half as we go over these incredible checks. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, we're just getting started. It's a big broadcast. It's a big day. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and we have a lot coming up, but I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Mornings Highlight continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. and then afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late.
And the excitement continues right now for June 11th, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good morning, and hope you're having a beautiful day. You know, it's days like this that you and I as a community, we sort of watch things happen, and then we modify, and we move, and we pivot, and we turn. And when you got to pivot and turn, you do it. Earlier today, I had an earlier video, which was this show. It was Morning to LA. I went live on air, and the audio didn't work. So what did I do? I said, let's just sort of kill it. Let's kill it, and let's do a new video. And that's what we're doing right now. The White House back in February understood that the supply chain disruption of the ports and the airports was not working. Did the White House pivot and find another solution? No. Back in March, we understood we were going to ban Russian oil. Did the White House go and find a solution for that Russian oil? No. You got to pivot in life. And that is what you and I as a family always do. Back in March, you said, LA, they're not getting this Build Back Better Act done right yet. I need money. Can you give me money? I did. I found it. A forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. And it's absolutely incredible and important that you get these checks right now, because this economy is going to be a lot worse by September. We'll be going over that in a second. A forced stimulus check is now in every U.S. state. You're not going to see this recording anywhere else in broadcast media, because this is why LA is number 3 most watched financial news in America right today. We're going to go over all these incredible checks one at a time in just a second. But remember, single individual, $75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get it. Let's get these checks, starting with Check A. It's a $6,500 to $12,000 forced stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, RB, go get it. It is called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. And how do you get it? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, go under the video where it says join now and click it and become a member. Then get that incredible newsletter and go down in that incredible newsletter until you see Check A, that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And there it gives you the link. Click the link and go in and apply. Understand, $6,500 to $12,000 is a lot of money, but it may not be enough money to survive you for several months. That's why you want to go do the next check. $15,000 to $80,000 Check B. Astronomical. Think in the back of your mind, how long could you survive financially if you had $80,000 as a forced stimulus check? Maybe a couple months, maybe a year and a half, and depending on how many people live with your household. That's a lot of money. That's what I try to do. Anyone who's asked me, do I have a $600 check for them? I look at them and say, what's $600? That doesn't do anything for anyone. I got to get you tens of thousands of dollars of checks. And this is that incredible Check B. It's the wonderful Homeowners Grant Check. How do you get it? Step 1, become a member. Then go into that incredible membership newsletter, down to that Check B where it mentions it, and click it and apply. Absolutely incredible. Apply. Running times on these checks A and B are about, 1 week out currently. Go get them. But you're not going to wait there. You're going to go then get Check C. Check C is a huge check. It's $2,000 a month over 12 months on average in MSC. Wow, many viewers are averaging about $45,000, but a lot of viewers have got a lot more money than that even so. Check C is one of the earliest items that I covered on this channel in day 1. We've been getting these Check C's since December 2020. Let's look at the success stories. It was then called Purple, then it became Third Stimulus, now it's Check C. Would you like $30,000 of your rent paid? This is what viewers have gotten. Would you like $15,000 of your utilities paid? This is what viewers have gotten. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. Would you like $25,000 of your SNAP paid per year? That's what Mark's brother-in-law's got, and this is what other viewers got. Would you like a combination of these items at over $30,000? This is what viewers have gotten. Nisi, she at the time was at $23,000, and Mark at the time was at $32,000. But what I teach and viewers learn on this channel is keep on going back and getting other sums of money. And Nisi keeps on doing that, as does Mark and Margaret and Lorraine. Nisi is no longer at $23,000. She's now at over $50,000. Mark is no longer at $32,000. He's at $166,000. Marco went 32,000 to 50,000 to 100, and then he got check B. He got 166. Lorraine, she was at 105. Now she's at probably about 130,000. This is what you do. How do you get check C? You become a member. You go down in that membership newsletter. Then I tell you where to call, who to call, and what to say. This is for renters. It is also for homeowners, and these incredible checks you deserve. Let's recap everything you need to know across the board. First, subscribe under this video. Hit that subscribe button right now. You can't miss a video. There's too much breaking news. It's not overlapping. There's breaking news brand new every video throughout the day almost, and you can't miss it. So hit that subscribe button. Number 2, become a member. Where it says under the video, join this channel, hit that button. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP member. Then get that incredible newsletter delivered to you Monday through Friday. It features a lot of financial data, features a lot of congressional data, and then also features these stimulus checks. I give them a lettering system, just between you and I. No one else uses a lettering system, so don't ask someone, where's that check C? They will look at you and say, excuse me? This is a lettering system I use for you and I, so we understand what both of us are talking about. It features that check A, that check B, that check C, and also features that check D. Go right down in there and click, 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 and apply. Become a member and stay a member, because new checks are coming out all the time, and you can't miss any breaking news across the board. One of the most important things that have been reflected in the membership newsletter this last week is that price of gasoline. Even every day when I was updating the newsletter and changing the data and sending it to you, I thought to myself, did I read that right? Yeah. The price of gasoline at the pump a week ago on this channel was about $4.20. And I said by mid last week, wait a second, why is it moving up 20 cents a day? $4.20, then $4.40, then $4.60, then $4.80. Then here it is $5. I've been reporting on this channel for a while. I believe we're going to $10 a gallon at the pump. International Brent crude, was 117 a week ago today. It's 123 today, June 11th. I believe it's going to 185. I'm not alone. A lot of bank analysts believe it's going to 185. What's important for you to understand is that the last 24 hours is a defining moment for our economy, defining moment for you and this family. Why? Now, the vast majority of Americans this weekend now believe this economy is as bad as the economy of a lockdown during the pandemic. Wow. Imagine if your business is shut down, people now believe that this is just as bad. Well, this is such a big turning point for so many reasons. One, because that means that consumer confidence is absolutely gone. If consumer confidence is gone, you've lost one of the most important parts of the economy. If consumers are not confident in the economy, they don't spend, they don't buy, they don't produce, they don't start up businesses, they just don't do things. If they think the economy is so bad. Number 2, are they right? They're actually wrong. They're actually overshooting. They're saying the economy is a little bit worse than it is. It's not good, but they think this is as bad as it's going to get. Folks, you know that's not true. Since February, again, I've been getting analysis right. Why do you watch this channel? Because it's now the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America. I've been getting analysis very right for a very long time. In February of last year, I said inflation was going to come in at 8% in December. It did, and no one else was saying that. They were saying smaller numbers. I said it was going to stay that number or go a little bit higher. They said no, 2-3% was going to be 1 month. They were very wrong. Then I said Jay Powell's not going to get inflation down, and that he does not have the tools to get inflation down because it's caused by supply chain disruption that can only be fixed by the president. Now, even middle America understands that Jay Powell has caused this financial problem. I said that Jay Powell is going to send you a recession. Now middle America understands this. It's this changing situation where what I reported on this channel months earlier is then understood by the broad stroke of the American culture months later as well. When we talk about financial analysts, same situation. Back in February, I said, there's a storm out to sea. And that storm out to sea, you can see the wind pick up. I equated the storm to a recession. Jamie Dimon, 3 months later, last week, repeated verbatim practically my exact same words. Same analogy. Instead of calling it a storm, he called it a hurricane. Instead of calling it out to sea, he called it down the road. Same thing, different guy, same words, 3 months later. But here's the here's the part of the equation that's fascinating. This is not the worst part of this economy. June 2011 is not the worst part of this economy. September will be hideously worse than it is right now. Hideously worse. And then starting January of 2023, we're in 2 years of recession. And that will be astronomically worse than September, enormously worse than it is right now, and far worse than anything of that pandemic lockdown that you saw. So to think that the American consumer believes that this is the worst it's going to be, boy, here's what you need to know, is that with that, you understand that Americans are going to need a lot of money. They're going to need a lot of help. They're going to be looking high, low, up, and down, and over for that help as it gets really bad really quickly. That's why you can't wait to become a member. That's why you can't wait to subscribe to this channel. Why would you watch anything else for financial news but Lalate? Why would you watch anything else for financial news but Lalate? Because I have told you where this economy is going months ago, years ago. Told you about inflation last year, told you about recession this year, told you about this situation months ago, told you about Jay Powell months ago. You need to know this ahead of time, not after the fact. That's why this channel's working, and this is why you work with it. Next, you got to get every pot of money that's available. You got to become a member and get that pot of money, because I don't know what's going to happen with the Congress of 2023. Will there be a recession package of 2023? Will it just help small businesses? Will it be a typical Mitch McConnell where it's just for corporate America and not for middle Americans? I don't know. And that is why you got to get the cash, keep the cash, and save the cash. And do exactly what Margaret and Nisi and Johnny and Lorraine do. They go back and they keep on getting sums of money. You need to become a member, stay a member, and keep on getting these sums of money. We have a big afternoon show today. It's brand new. It's at 3 o'clock. I hope to see you then. Then a brand new Evenings Lalate show at 5 o'clock. Step 1, subscribe and become a member. Step 2, get that incredible newsletter. And step 3, go in there and get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Hundreds of you are in the live chat. God bless you. Thank you for rejoining me after that pivot I had to do. Video went live this morning and the audio was not right, so I had to pivot and do it again. And you came back. That's what the White House needs to do. And the White House is not. The White House is not solving the situation for gasoline at all, not even addressing the situation. White House is not addressing the situation for supply chain disruption. White House is not addressing the situation for inflation. The White House needs to fire Brian D.C. immediately. You heard that come from my mouth just there. He needs to fire Brian D.C. immediately. He's absolutely as bad as you can get. Get a task force in there that is dedicated exclusively for supply chain disruption. The ports, the shipping. If you want to put your transportation secretary in charge of control of it, Mayor Pete, I like him. I think he's good. Put him in control of it. It's not simple things like the hours they operate. It's a lot more logistical issues. Gina Raimondo, we're talking about things that maybe she's just not doing anything. You got to get a team in there that's dedicated for fixing the ports and the shipping and the embargoes and the tariffs right today. You do it by executive order, get it done within the next 30 days. Then you got to get a team in there that deals with getting the oil agreements from those countries. You got a choice. Choose the choice. Address the whole human rights issue right up front, saying I understand there's human rights violations, but we have an economic emergency. We got to get oil. It'll either be OPEC or Iran or Venezuela or Brazil. You got to get the deal. What did the president do yesterday? The president yesterday was in Los Angeles and he had a meeting of the American countries. And he excludes some countries on human rights violations. Now, Venezuela was not one of the countries invited. But the narrative is that the White House simply wants to just sort of pit and have fights with everyone. You can't have fights with everyone if you need oil. If you need oil, you need to just make a deal. And the deal may be perceived as a deal with the devil, but admit it's a deal with the devil. We need the gasoline and we need to move on from it. And we will not be condoning their human rights violations. We just need the deal. And we need the deal today. Become a member. I'll see you next at noontime. This video will not take you there automatically. It will not take you there automatically. So watch for the message alert from me about the 11 o'clock show coming up right after this. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. Become a member. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. It's mornings, and I'll see you back at noontime.